Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Yo, it's Tavon Greatness Patterson. Want to listen to Hot 702.5 on the go? Download the Hot 702.5 app on the Apple Store or Google Play Store if you got an Android like me.
Let's get it.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J.
Bruno Mars. On hot7025fm.com.
What's the deal? What's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Miss Love Doctor, and thank you so much for tuning in. And you are here on the Hot 702.5, the hottest station, point blank and period. Let's talk love. You guys have entered the room of love, and we're going to be here, and we're going to talk about some serious things, which are the matters of the heart. But this is where love meets beauty, and my beautiful co-host is not in studio with me today, but we love her all the same, so feel free to go ahead and drop some hearts for her. That would be amazing, just to let her know that we miss her while she's not here. But anyway, so y'all come on in the room. We finna talk about we're gonna talk about 35 shows of love, right? I cannot believe that we have done 35 shows. So make sure you guys comment, love this, always love this, drop some hearts. And we was talking about them stars a little bit. Drop some stars if y'all want to do that. And definitely call in if you got something you want to talk about. And if you have been tuning in with us all year for all 35 shows, then I definitely think I want to hear from you guys, because I got to give a shout out to you guys on the simple fact that I have to extend the love and the gratitude that I have for any and everybody who has tuned in to even just one show. So I just want to extend that love and let y'all know that I truly, truly appreciate, anybody who has watched any last one of these shows. So definitely, if you have something you want to talk about, you could call in 551-5261. Love to hear from you. But at the same time, when you do call in, make sure you be respectful, make sure you be classy, because, we grown people out here. And, honesty is a good policy that we have, but it's definitely a safe space, and there is no judgment. So I could not think about, first of all, let me just say Happy New Year to everybody, because it is a new year and it is a new breath of fresh air. Like it's a chance for everybody to be able to be restored in a new way. It just depends on how you look at it, right? So Happy New Year to everybody. But by it being the top of the new year, I could not think about what to talk about. And I mean, I was all over the place, and in reality, I'm all over the place with the topics anyways. You can ask Beauty on the Beat for that, because I want to talk about something with the substance for the most part. So I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about this or whatever. And, we be going back and forth with the topics. So I couldn't decide, like, what should we talk about? It's the top of the year. It's the top of the year. It's the top of the year. And what she wanted to talk about, I didn't want to talk about it without her, because I would have felt bad, because I already know she would have been talking a little bit of shit, because it was definitely a few topics that I wanted to touch on by it being the very first show of the year. I definitely had some things that I wanted to talk about. But, I was like, I'm going to do that for her. And I'm sorry, my friend missing out. But tap in. I know she's going to try to tap in at some point. You know what I'm saying? So I thought about it. And I was like, last year was crazy. Like, last year was crazy. And that's with a capital Z, because it was a lot going on. It was a really wild ride, if you think about it. Like, it was really a wild ass fucking roller coaster. Like, up and downs, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of zips, a lot of turns. Like, you know how to get roller coaster, you don't know, you zip zam. Like, it was a whole lot of that. And some of it was good, some of it was not so good, but it was a lot of amazing things that happened last year, too. I met a lot of amazing people. I lost a lot of amazing people. And some of them are alive. Some of them are no longer here. And I think that was probably the toughest thing for me last year, was to lose some very important people to me, and in a crazy amount of people, right? And we didn't really talk about it over the year. But, I mean, after listening back, because I went and listened back to all of our shows, like, after listening back, I realized that, I mentioned it a couple of times. But, yeah, I don't know. I look at, like, some of the videos, and I look at my face, and I'm like, how in the hell did I do that? Like, how did I do that? How did I even remotely seem sane? Like, I was watching one show and my eye was hurting me so bad, and I don't know if anybody else could notice it, but I'm looking at the screen. But anyway, I'm getting a little bit off a topic, but I'm on topic, because it was just a wild ride. And there was a lot of things that were very rewarding. A lot of mind-blowing events. And, out of all of those things, there was one thing in particular that I was blessed with last year. And I'm going to go ahead and say that it was this radio show, right? Even though everybody calls it a podcast. I don't know why everybody calls it a podcast. But, of course, me being me, we are trying to move in the direction of a podcast for this year. So y'all stay tuned for that, because I know a lot of people can't really tune in here all the time. And this is kind of like in the middle of the work day for a lot of people. So they'll tell me, like, I tried to catch the show, but we got busy at work. I'm like, I get it. I understand, But yeah, with this show, I feel, very blessed and honored, but yet very, very humble, about having this show. Like, I literally manifested it in a way. And we talk about that all the time, because I basically, when we came in, first of all, when we were blessed with the radio promotion for our businesses for a month, shout out to Rue Mike for giving us that opportunity. I think that was so dope of him. And then we met E. And I was like, I like it here. I love it here. I want to work here. And I didn't think, like, I want to have my own radio show. I didn't think about it like that. But I was just like, I love it here. Like, I like the vibe in here. I think this is dope, And look, I'm like, hey, mama, your daughter on the radio. So, yeah, got to give a shout out to that, because that definitely happened. And now we're here. And we are 35 shows of love in. And that is wild to me. I think I didn't really realize that I was going to go and dive into it the way I did. And I literally went back to the very first show, and I started, like, watching back to see, you see the growth, you see the build, you see the glow up a little bit. And I was also like, why didn't I share this show here? And no wonder I didn't get any views on this show either. Like, so, you kind of start to do your homework. So by it being the year ending, I told myself, like, let's roll it back. Like, let's roll it back. Let's really, like, roll it back. Let's talk about, the shows that we've done, especially so that I can stay away from the topics that, we got in store for you guys. Because, like I said, Miss Beauty on the Beat will probably have a whole little attitude with me. Or she'll have, what she call it, FOMO. She'll have FOMO that she missed out. But 35 shows, like, this shit is wild. Like, and it's been exciting. We got some people in the room. What's up, Auntie Tanya? How you doing? We love you too. Noor, Karma, shout out to you for always tapping in. Definitely appreciate you. Like I said, anybody who has even listened to the show one time, I'm sending out mad love, mad vibes to you because I appreciate you. Because, like, you could have been doing anything with your 55 minutes besides listening to me. But you was listening to me. You know what I'm saying? So, it's been exciting. It's been fun. It's been enjoyable. We had some provocative moments. We had some overall, like, electrifying journey. It was an electrifying journey. We'll just say that. It was a lot going on. So we're going to go ahead and tap into this and let's see what we've been discussing. Let's see what we've been talking about. I'm going to take me a little sippity sip and what kind of love have we been talking about? What we've been, have we been talking about anything that holds value? Have we been talking about anything of substance? Have we been talking about anything that has mattered to you? Because ultimately, my goal is to talk about matters of the heart, right? And the stuff that we're talking about are things that should, or normally, we're humans. We're all humans, so it kind of matters to all of our hearts. So, and if it's being discussed, and the conversations are always happening around us, right? Or, people come to me with conversations, and I like when people try to come to me with debates. That's always cool. But we're having these conversations, but we having sometimes little to none or no solutions to these conversations. So it's like, okay, we know we have this issue. We know that we have this going on. What are we going to do about it? All right. And most times nobody's talking about what we're going to do about it. They just want to keep talking about it. So it's like, do you really want to, like, keep debating the same said thing, or would you like to, like, figure something out? So with that being said, I have to make sure I let you guys know February 9th is going to be very special because we are doing a Let's Talk Love event live. Live does not mean live video, especially for my men. I got to make sure I keep them safe. But we're doing one with a live audience, and I have some dope men and some amazing women that are going to be on the panel. And this conversation is going to have a twist to it. So if you think what you're thinking is going to be, it's not going to be. You know what I mean? So I don't want people to shy away from it and feel like, like, oh my God, like, what is this going to be? Is this going to be an ambush? Is it going to be an attack? No, it's never that. And you could definitely talk to men or women who has been to the events before. It's really an open conversation. And like I said, I really want us to have a solution for all these things. So make sure you guys, tap in with me. You can inbox me at Ms. Love Doctor and let me know that you want to, either be on the panel or just be in the space to have the conversation because it's going down. So February 9th, we're going to have a Let's Talk Love with the men and the women. And this is the first time that I've done this. So the Let's Talk Love with the men, I did all just men and me. The Let's Talk Love with the women, I did all women and me. So that these conversations can be straightforward, people can speak freely and know that it's a safe space and have these conversations. Now remember, I listened to what the men had to say. I listened to what the women had to say. Now it's time for us to have a conversation together. So I hope I got some real life grown-ups, some adults who's, ready for this type of conversation. And like I said, we be having these conversations on the show. So at the end of the day, you kind of got know that we're going to get a little deep. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to kick this off. We're going to kick this throwback Wednesday. I don't know. I'm going to think of something about for Wednesday. But we got to kick it off with our very first show. right? We have to kick it off with our very first show. There is no other way but to do it because we got to give love to that. It was our first freaking show. And I wish my co-host was here to talk about it because I know she gonna have some things to say. But the energy was so high, like literally high. No, it was so high. Like the energy was so dope. So, okay, Nisha, way back Wednesdays. We're gonna do way back Wednesdays. Thank you for helping me out, Dom. I appreciate that. So the show was on 4/20/22. Very first show. We're like, what are we going to talk about, right? And it's a day I can't forget because the energy was high. My nerves was all over the place. I was scared as hell. Anybody that I talked to after the show that tuned in, they were like, you didn't seem nervous. I was like, my legs was shaking underneath and everything. I was super nervous. Like, I was even listening back to myself, and I was just like, wow. Like, I'm nervous today. Like, I still be nervous, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to get to a place where you're like, but at the end of the day, I was like super nervous. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that it fell on 4/20, it had me look and see what day 4/20 falls on this year. So, of course, it's 4/19/2023. So, and I thought about it, like, we probably need to have a pre-roll. Like, you know, Nisha, help me out with a pre-roll 4/20 event for the 1-year anniversary. It falls on 4/19/2023. But we need to have a celebration because it's something very, you know, important and worthy of a celebration. But, let me think. How was I feeling that day? You know, it was wild. It was really wild. Like, I couldn't believe I was here. I couldn't believe I was in that space. I couldn't believe it was happening. And, you know, that little bit of, like, doubt was kicking in. Like, holy shit. Am I able to do this? Am I able to do this? Like, oh, my God. Like, you know how that doubt kicks in a little bit. And when I look back and the feedback that I got from the professionals, you know, she was like, you was made for this. I'm like, tell me what I need to hear then. Thank you. Tell me what I need to hear then. Thank you. But we had a great host and a great guest is what I meant. We had a great guest. And, of course, like, she was a Capricorn. So it was like all Capricorn vibes up in here. And so at this particular time, we had 2 December Capricorns and 1 January Capricorn. So it was so funny because one of the moments in the show, which I think I'm going to save that to the funny moment. But in the end of it, like, one of the moments in the show, we were saying something like, we're so different. And she was like, and Beauty on the Beat was like, well, how are we different? And our guest, Pearl B. Hustlin, said, that's a question a January Capricorn will ask. Because a December Capricorn already gets it. And she was like, okay. I thought it was hilarious. I know. But definitely got to give a shout out to the Capricorns in the building because it's still our season. The Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So I kicked it off and we're going to end it off with Beauty on the Beat. So y'all going to have to stay tuned for that. But, you know, shout out to all my Capricorns out there. Happy birthday, y'all. Y'all mama was having y'all around this time. But our guest, she was very knowledgeable on the topic of cannabis. So due to the fact that it was 4/20, we did love and cannabis. And we kind of talked about love and cannabis and the benefits of cannabis and to try to diminish the bad stigmas that have been put out there. So we definitely had to talk about that. But she was very, very knowledgeable in the subject. So that was kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? Because she was able to drop some gems. So with each show, I'm going to go through a couple of our shows that we did. And we're going to do highlights of the show. And then we'll do some funny moments of the show. And then we'll do some takeaways, right? So the highlights of that show is the fact that it was our first show. Period. Exclamation mark or whatever you want to say. It was our first show. So that's a highlight within itself. You feel me? And then the fact that anxiety can be relieved with CBD for the people who still believe in DARE and don't want to, you know, indulge, which to each his own. If you are experiencing some things, you don't have to have that effect of being high. You can definitely use CBD, and they have so many different forms. You can like use creams, this, that, whatever. And you don't have to smoke weed, and that's probably a good thing. So that's probably pretty cool that they made that, especially for people who, they don't really believe in doing drugs like that. Or is it a drug? Is it a drug anymore? I know they took it out of the classification. So I don't know. But we talked about, I think a highlight is that we talked about the fact that it helps you sexually. I wonder if people didn't know that. You know what I mean? Like, it helps you sexually. And another funny moment of it is we talked about how Whoopi got some lube. Has anybody tried Whoopi's lube? I need to try Whoopi's lube. You know what I'm saying? Whoopi, send me some lube so I can tell people what it do for me. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's water-based. But it probably got CBD in it. Yeah, we going to have to figure that out. But my ass going to say, Whoopi look like she know how to make it feel good. I was cracking up. I was cracking my own self up. But, guess she got the cooch area stuff. But then we talked about how Calvara has a THC cocktail. So if you don't want to be a person who smoke, but you still want to have the effects, you have stuff to drink or you have stuff to eat. They have all kind of different things that you can try, and you don't have to smoke, because I know lung health is very important. As we all know, that cigarettes is killing our people out here. And we definitely talked about setting the mood, and we talked about rose blunts, and that wedding cake helps your libido. That is so cool. Because if you having problems with your libido, like, do you really want to take some pills, or do you really want to use some type of experimental cream on your girl? Like, not so much. So, wedding cake is a strand. So you get your little wedding cake, see what that do. I'm going to somebody send me some wedding cake too. Now, some of the funny moments is the fact that we were completely in Paris. Now, if anybody knows me, like, at first I was really mad at myself, like, this is your first show and you want to be in Paris. But then the other part of me was like, bro, we operate in all, we are very adaptable. So let's go. We finna get it. So, and then like I said, we had 3 Capricorns in the building, and that's funny. And we talked about the stigmas of Capricorns, how we mean, we stubborn, we picky, even though we're literally like the nicest people and like probably like the best people that you have in your life. So shout out to you if you got a Capricorn in your life. That's all I'm saying. Because you're blessed. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there, that you are blessed. So, thank you, God, for us. Some of the takeaways, though, is, basically learning what medically marijuana can do for you versus people just thinking like it's a gateway drug and you're going to just be high, or, you losing your memory cells. Like, if that's the case, why is it medicinally? There's different strands for different things. So that was kind of cool that we kind of took away from that you can use it for things that you're suffering with, not just to get high, not just to escape, not just to cope, because that's different. And at the end of the day, I noticed that I shout out my granddad on that show, and I was like, shout out to Granddad, because Granddad was really proud of me, or is proud of me, but and he definitely wanted to see me make it. He wanted to see me make it. He was there, right there. I feel like he was shooting in the gym with me. He seen all my hard work, and he saw me diligently working on different things. And I don't want to get emotional, but I definitely know that, Granddad believe in me. So long live the Baileys. Now, the next show that we did that we're going to touch a little light on was The Love of Our Black Kings. That one aired May 18th. And that one was to wave the white flag. Like, let black men know that we value you. We honor you. We see you. We appreciate you. We need you. Like, at some point, we have to cut the war. We have to end the war. We have to figure out how that us as black men and black women can get along. Like, we're not designed to hate each other. If that was the case, like, we wouldn't even have any dealings with each other, right? But I am literally sick of us being enemies. Like, it's literally sickening. Like, I read some posts sometimes and I just like keep scrolling. Or even if I'm tagged in the post, I probably won't even comment, because The comments are so degrading and so you this, men this, women that, back and forth. Like, bro, like, just cut it. Because half of that shit you saying is a personal experience with one woman or one man. Because all men ain't did that to you. There is some things that are we have some commonalities amongst women and some commonalities amongst men. And we kind of know what those are. But at the same time, like, but we can't be like that. Like, every time you see a post, it's like, why women do this? And I be thinking to myself, like, I don't do that shit. Stop saying that. You know what I mean? But we have been literally designed to hate each other, and it's sickening. It's unfortunate, and I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna try to do my best to build that bridge, rebuild that bridge, that wedge, wave the white flag, put out the fire, like, because at the end of the day, like, we are stronger in numbers, and we were black kings and queens. Like, we know this. We know that history, what we know of, is probably not the real. So we need to see the worth in ourselves. We need to see the worth in each other and start to pour into each other. Like, literally, when we show up, we got the same backpack full of bullshit. You got the same stuff in your bag that I got in my bag. We don't come with nothing different. It may look a little bit different. Your bag might be a little bit lighter because you ain't got all this bullshit I got in my bag. But some of the stuff, some of the core things, probably the first 5 core things, we got the same things in our bags because we have the same problems. We have the same struggles. We have the same discriminations. We have the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you know, when do we start to have empathy for each other? At some point, we have to start to have some type of empathy for each other and understand each other as humans. Because point blank period, this war is janky. We fighting a war that we weren't even prepared for. Who came prepared for this war? Nobody. But we in it. So what day we gonna empty out this bag? Like, what you got in your bag? I got this in my bag. Well, what can we do about this shit? Because you got to make the load a little lighter. You feel what I'm saying? So, and I know, and one of the reason why I did this is because I am human based. Y'all know that. Most times men are like, you only side with the women. You only no. We're humans, and we all kind of sort of have the same humanly needs. Which means, guess what? Men have hearts too. And at the end of the day, I know that you guys are protecting your hearts the same way we are trying to protect ours. Nobody wants to get hurt out here. Who wants to get hurt? Like, that's ridiculous. We too old to be getting our feelings hurt. Point blank period. Like, when people like, when I feel you hurt my feelings, that I don't like it. I don't like it because I feel like we too old for that shit. I feel like we're old enough to have civilized conversations about your moves, my moves, and how we gonna move together accordingly or not. But, you know, people don't do that. And I do not like when my damn feelings get hurt. It irritates me with me. Like, why is your feelings hurt, bro? Like, come on now. But at the end of the day, I know that we're all out here trying to protect ourselves. So if you're trying to protect yourself, the least you can do is not project what you're trying to protect. Ooh, that's a quote. Do not project what you're trying to protect. Somebody write that in the comments so I don't forget it. But, man, y'all, we know y'all got a heart, and you want it to be touched, and you want compassion, and you want to be desired, you want to be heard and not being debated. Like, you want to be heard, you want to be seen, which is the same things that we want. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, you know, where's the white flag? Let's wave it. I mean, I could change the color, but, you know, they say that's the flag of peace. So let's think. Some of the funny moments is, this show, we had 3 Capricorns in the building again. How cool is that? But this time it was 2 January Capricorns and 1 late December, and I could hold it down, so it was cool. You know, it was cool. Some takeaways that we got from the show is, we as women on this show, I notice on a lot of shows I do this, so it must be my signature. But we actually took accountability for something. I don't know if y'all noticed that. We took accountability for something in the fact that sometimes we need to listen. A lot of times. Most time. All the time. Honestly. If you're having a conversation and you're not listening, what's the purpose of having a conversation anyway? So what we came up to the agreement of is that sometimes we're too strong, and sometimes we're too strong-willed, and then we go back to that place of protection, right? Don't project what you're trying to protect. So if you know that when you're feeling away, you want to be heard, you want to be listened to, you want this person, your other person, to really hear and feel what you're saying and where you're coming from, you have to be open enough to hear them too. So I see so many posts like, women don't know how to take accountability. The woman that you were dealing with does not know how to take accountability. But I like the fact that we all in a unison agreed. Like, yeah, like sometimes, we are too strong-willed, and sometimes you don't be want to hear it. And you think that everything that they talking about is bullshit. Because sometimes it is. But sometimes, if this person is coming from a place of peace and love, then of course, you know what I'm saying? You really do want to take the time and listen to what these black men are saying, because, like I said, we both have the same backpacks. So they have some heavy shit that they need to talk about too. But sometimes they don't know if it's a safe space. But this show was literally heavy because, like I said before, I really want unity. I want unity out of us. So we need to kind of figure out what is a peace treaty. And if y'all have any suggestions or anything like that, go ahead and let me know. Drop them some suggestions. And we already have literally everybody else against us. Did y'all notice that? Like, you got to be a strong individual. Like when they say, I think a comedian said it, but it's really a true statement. Like when you get in trouble, go with the law, and you get that letter in the mail, and it's your name versus the United States of America. Like, what the fuck? The whole country? The whole country. Y'all stop and think about that. So we really don't have little to no room to be against each other if you really think about it. And that's men against men, black on black, black and brown, all of that. Like, we really, really don't have room to be against each other, because we sitting down here at the bottom fighting with each other when we don't need to do that. We should be kumbayaing at the bottom so we can at least live a somewhat normal life based on, everything else that is thrown our way. You know what I mean? So, yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thinking about as far as how, we can unify. Like, we really can come together and build this bridge. How we gonna do it? We're gonna start off with this Let's Talk Love. So make sure y'all check your calendars for February 9th, because I need you in the building. If we don't have the people in the building to talk about it, then what are we talking about? And stop being on social media behind the keyboard talking shit if you don't really want to, find no solution. Now, we had a show 7/13/22 for self-pleasure. It was on masturbation. What's going on? We got Jeremy Armstrong said, BM have never left the table. BW have, but in due time, BW will have no choice but to return. Tell me what BM and BW is. Black men, black women. Oh, black men and black women. Thank you. I'm like, who? So black men have never left the table. Black women have. But in due time, black women will have no choice but to return. I would like to respectfully disagree. I would like to disagree with that, because where did we leave the table at? How did we leave the table? BM have never been against BW to this day. We still try to protect you guys. Say some, and I would probably say you, have trying to protect us. And shout out to you, because I've never left the table. I've never left the table. I come with my own table so we can have a bigger table. You know what I'm saying? So I understand everything that you're saying. So we've been sitting at the table for a long time, and we're welcoming. We're waiting on you. But let's just be clear about some things, that at some point, the stigma, which was created not by black men, but the stigma was created for us a long time ago. We were supposed to be undesirable. We were supposed to be black and ugly and nappy-headed and this and that and the other. And, of course, we're going to just say what it is. Other races are glorified. Like, it's to a point where you call other women exotic, and it's like, oh, shit, what you got? You got you a black girl? Oh, okay. Oh, you got you a foreigner? Oh, she exotic. You know what I'm saying? But so at one point, do we realize that what we've been taught, we need to unlearn that? So the fact that we left the table, we never left the table, because on this same very show, we talked about dating outside our race and things like that. And our guest basically said, she's like, I've definitely dated outside my race. And she said you can't help who you fall in love with. And I agree with that. Like, if you fall in love, you fall in love. But I think it's a difference when one said side hates or dislike the other side. Like, I will never date black men. Like, the nerve, like, why? Even though it's my preference, but if you would never date them, you don't have to talk bad about them. That's really the point that I'm trying to make. That, what they say, if you can't help them, don't harm them. If it's not your preference, that's perfectly fine. But at the end of the day, you don't have to put them down either side. And I'm talking about men and women, not just men and not just women, because that's not what we're going to do. But once again, like I said, so the show on July 13th was about self-pleasure, a little bit of masturbation. And a couple of highlights of that was, due to it being in July, we decided, because it's hot. It was hot outside, so we was going to talk about sex all month. And we did. We definitely talked about sex all month. We talked about self-pleasure. We talked about orgasms. We talked about healthy sex. We talked about... what else? Sex toys. We talked about sex toys on self-pleasure. But, and I bought in some props. I bought in props, and if you can look back at that show and see Beauty on the Beat, I made her blush because I brought in some butt plugs. I don't know if, they were, received, but I bought them in, whatever. I had extras at home, so, I was giving them out to people, so they can try them out, or I already know what it's about. But the crazy part is this is one of the most viewed shows that we had. And we had 423 views and 110 comments. That means that conversation was going up. And I appreciate everybody that was on there, because they was on there talking crazy. But I know sex is like one of those conversations that you can really have, and people got a lot to say about it. And I know 423 views probably don't sound like a lot to you, but I'm proud of it. I'm happy about them 423s, because it's the most viewed show that we have. And we babies in this shit. So shout out to our 423. And that was the same week that we went to the Cannabis Awards Music Festival. And that kicked the week off, and we had a good time. Like, we had a really good time that day. And it was something different. But some of the funniest moments of the show was, recently I was told that Jasmine Sullivan's song, which I played in the beginning, Oops, was not about masturbation. I guess there's an interview out there with Jasmine that's basically saying that she's not talking about masturbation at all. She's talking about self-love. So for one, I need to go back and really listen to the song. And for two, I need to go and listen to this interview. I got to find this interview, because I need to know what she's saying, because I definitely thought that she was talking about masturbation. Like, okay, like, oops, there go my skirt. Like, I didn't know that I was about to take this off and touch her. But, yeah, that was pretty cool. And then we brought in the Pretty Love, which I like the name of that, but that was the remote control vibrator. And she made me tell my story / business. But yeah, so some of the takeaways from that show is you cannot go blind from masturbation. You can't go blind, okay? And masturbation actually aids your self-confidence, and it boosts your metabolism and all kinds of stuff. So I get it has the same benefits of having actual sexual intercourse, which does a lot for you. But at the end of the day, if you ain't got nobody else to do it with yourself. So that was kind of cool. Don't deprive yourself, because you need love. So you might as well. Also had that in the news. They said the rose was killing people. When I tell you they wanted to hate on the rose so bad, like, Come on, bro. Like, let's stop. Let's not do the roles like that. Cause the roles came through and was knocking shit down. I can't even front. Like, I heard so many good stories about the roles, and we had a whole lot of laughs talking about that roles. But yeah, the roles was not killing people that I know of. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you have an orgasm to death, I don't know. I guess that's a way to go. Like my girl said, on top of me. But and then we also discovered that masturbation helps with your self-esteem and depression. So that's always a thing. You know what I mean? You feeling depressed? Zoom zoom, go ahead and get it together. But that was a dope ass show. We had a good time, and it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? So we gonna go ahead and move on to the next show, which I felt like we had a celebrity on. We had our very first celebrity, let me say that. And we had fine ass Icarice on August 24th of 2022. And we had we had the owner of the station on. So I thought that was kind of dope. And I think I have a space in my heart for her, because when somebody can see the gifts in you, even sometimes when your light is a little bit dim, you got to shine light on them too. So that was pretty dope. And she joined us and we had a good conversation. We talked about a whole lot of grown up shit that a lot of people aren't ready to really have this conversation about. And it needs to be had. Like, it needs to be had at this point. And I think that has a lot to do with the peace factor. If we can have this conversation of polyamory and polyandry and all the different polys, like, we need to have this conversation, because where are you at with it? You know what I mean? Because I think cheating is dead. We too old to be cheating. It doesn't make any sense. But we're going to talk about cheating, so I'm going to just keep moving right on along. But I know we talked on the fact that what we want, we make time for. Like, we make things happen when we want to make time for them. And I think that's a real thing. And it was with friends and family and whatever it is, even if it's work to make money or whatever, like, we make time for what we want to make time for. And for the most part, like, people like, well, I was busy and I didn't this and that. Like, well, you weren't busy before when you wanted to make time for a person, and then you didn't. And that's okay. Just say that. You know what I mean? We definitely discussed vacation before Bae was Bae, before Bae was fiance. That's what I'll say. But it was interesting because when she was telling us about the vacation, she mentioned that they were at a wedding hotel. So, manifestation is real. So at the end of the day, shout out to them, to the Banks. We had a show pre-proposal. So I thought that was kind of cool. One of the funniest moments that I put on here is that I had a damn wig on. And anybody knows me, like, I don't really too much care for weave as it is. Braids, I wear them because I don't have to comb my hair. And that still be pushing it sometimes. But I was looking back at that show like, bro, you had a whole ass wig on. I was like, oh my God, because I'm not a wig wearer, and my co-host is determined to find the right wig for me. So therefore, on days like today, when I didn't want to comb my hair, I could throw my wig on. So I appreciate her for that, because, it's a little bit of trial and error. But I don't like feeling wiggy. I don't want to feel wig. And we talked about having more than one person who loves you. And I think we went to church on this one, because it was like, damn, can you have more than one person that loves you and you love more than one person? But while you're doing that, it's working. Like, everybody is in agreement on everything that's going on. There's no issues. My position, your position. We all know where we sit. We all, like that table, we all know where we sit. We all know where we stand. And everybody can love each other in the most healthiest way. And that's the conversation that we need to have, But we definitely went to church on that. And some takeaways that we have from that show is your rest is important. And you can't be as creative when you're restless and you have sleepless nights. And I can agree to that, I guess. But I've never been a person to sleep a lot. So when people think that I don't sleep, they think that I'm losing sleep because I don't sleep as much as them. Like, I've never been a napper. When I'm tired, I just lay down and go to sleep. That's just what it is. But you don't want to be sleepless. You don't want to be restless and trying to do stuff like that. So one day I did take a nap and I was like, but it was probably like a one-time thing. We talked about being intentional. It is key, and that's in everything that you do. So this year coming forward, like, I really want to know what people's intentions are. Like, what are you doing to create your lane for this year? And what are your intentions to make that happen? We talked about setting boundaries. If you are, like, polyamorous one day, how do you set those boundaries? How do you have that conversation? How do you make it clear about your wants, your your dislikes and all that stuff? How do you have that conversation? And we definitely talked about the fact that jealousy could still arise, but I think that it can be less if people are honest and have that key of communication to unlock different doors. You know what I mean? Be crystal clear. Be crystal clear about what you want and how to love you. And I think that, that can go a long way. Now, the next one we talked about, let me see what comments we got in here. Carice Jackson been trying to, that's why I'm here. And it says, yes, I believe you can. Under the Most High law, you have to marry both them women and provide a home for both families. Yeah. I've heard that, in the culture who follows that. It says that you can't have multiple wives if you can't provide for them. Like, what are you doing? If you can't provide for both families and everybody is equal, then that's not how that works. So I have heard that. And I think that it is true. But I think that providing is also, like, with love and affection and all of these things, you have to be able to literally divide the two, because you'll notice, like, if somebody is married, when when the other person is cheating and the other person figures it out, is because there's some slacking there somewhere, because you're now shifting over here. Like, you're not spreading your love out equally between the two of us. Now it's like, now I'm an issue and this person is like magical fairy dust or something, when it was all good just a week ago. You know what I'm saying? So the next show we had Living Bisexual. And I love that show because we had a twist to the show. Everybody glorifies being bisexual when it's a woman. But we had a male on the show who was bisexual, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. So we had that shirt with Sir Armstrong, and he came through, and he dropped some serious nuggets, and I definitely appreciate him for that. I understood that, we talked about being bisexual and how you can break some of those stigmas of what you think of a bisexual male, because a lot of times you look at a bisexual man and you think, like, okay, well, this is what he said, like, oh, okay, well, you're only going to keep messing with a man. And he's like, no, if I'm with a woman, I'm with the woman. If I'm with the man, I'm with the man. But I'm a bisexual man. I do like both. And it's like the honesty, the transparency. Now you have that choice to make. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. And I know that topic is, like, super, super taboo. A lot of people don't want to go there, but it is what it is. And I know sometimes men are uncomfortable having this conversation about being bisexual. So I love the fact that we actually had a bisexual man on the show that can shed some light and some love and let us know, that basically it's a human who likes both sexes. It's cool when a woman do it, right? So the funniest moments was I kept making sure that when I was reading supposedly the signs of you possibly being bisexual, I kept saying, per Google, do not say that I said any of this stuff, because it was some things that probably could touch, some people probably feel a way about, because one of the things was if you have a problem with a gay man, then you possibly have some bisexual tendencies. So I kept making sure I said, this is per Google. I Googled this. These are not my thoughts. Like, I don't feel like that. I don't even know what bisexual tendencies is, and I wanted to stay far away from that. But I thought it was funny And I definitely talked about the story with Tank, and he was saying, like, if you suck the penis one time, like, if you suck one time, I realize that I don't want to be gay. It's not for me. And that was pretty funny. But some takeaways was, we should never really assume things about people unless you have a conversation with them. You don't know. You don't know nobody's story. And just like they don't know your story. So just keep it a buck with people and allow people to space the room and the grace to be who they want to be, however they want to be it, because you want to be yourself. So, don't assume. And if you don't know somebody's journey, it ain't your business. It's not your business to judge, it's like if we could take judgment out of things, I feel like people could live a happy life because you've taken judgment out of things. Nobody's going to judge you for what you're doing because you're doing it anyway, right? And, being bisexual is a preference and it should be a choice that people can live out loud with. People can definitely live out loud with. So, I really enjoyed that show. Shout out to Sir. I appreciate you coming on. He probably was our second celebrity. But and then the last one was our reflection of 2022. We talked about the year in entirety, and I was still tripping out. The first highlight I'm gonna say is the fact that we've been on the radio show since April. I'm gonna keep saying that because if I bless what's blessing me, then it'll be a blessing. You hear what I'm saying? But I really had to think about that. Damn, it hasn't been a full year yet, but since April, that was still kind of the beginning. We was in spring, things was coming out of hibernation and growing and, blooming, so we gonna see how this here grows and we gonna see, what blooms from it. I'm excited to see, what beautiful things come from this. And another highlight was having some dope ass guests. We had some dope guests. Everybody that came on, in my opinion, was a celebrity, and in their own right, So it just lets me know that we're only going to gain more celebrities and the different celebrity levels of things. So we're going to put that in the universe. I really did love having every single guest. My sister was probably one of my favorite guests because that's my little baby. And it took her a while. It took her a while to get here. She was so nervous. But I was like, you'll do fine because she be having some nuggets. She be having some things to talk about. And I definitely enjoy DJ So Hype. Y'all know. He was on here like a breath of fresh air. And I say that because he was speaking from the male's perspective in a more positive way. So it was really, really nice to have some conversation with him. And he was married. So he was dropping nuggets on marriage and men and women. I really, really like, I'll make this a highlight right now. I don't have this written, but I really like that he told women, know yourself. You out here trying to date and you want love, you looking for love, you searching for love, but you don't even know yourself. And I think that's a man and woman thing, but like I said, we were talking to a man from a male's perspective, so we got to respect it. We got to respect what he was telling us because we're asking the questions, right? It goes back to that first thing I was saying about listening. So it was like a breath of fresh air to get that information from a male in a positive light, When things are more positive, you can be more receptive to them. A couple of the funniest moments was I be cracking myself up. I am pretty funny to me. So I realized I be like, when you hear that, ooh, that cracked me up. And I don't think nobody else be laughing. And then we had a lot of funny moments. I feel like I need to put a reel together of bloopers because there was a lot of funny moments and a lot of different bloopers that was going on and technical difficulties. And we pushed right on through, A couple of takeaways is, which is heavy. I literally can see my face and see whatever was going on at the time and the trauma. But the crazy part is I pushed through. And I appreciate y'all rocking with us since April. I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. I got mad love for y'all. And I know it's a new year, so I'm sending you love. I'm sending you light. I'm sending you transition, restoring, repairing, rebuilding. And definitely a lot of love and a lot of income, more income. And you can let that income be any type of income you would like to receive. So I appreciate y'all and sending out some real, genuine, authentic love to you guys for tuning in. So I appreciate you guys for doing that. And let's see what this year has for us in store. I got a feeling that it's gonna be amazing. It's like I said, there was some things that was planted, and seeds is gonna start to bloom. So you guys make sure you have a love-filled week, and I will tap in with you next week, Wednesday at 4:00. Peace out.